Hey, this is Ben from Ready.Set.Van. I am super excited to do a tour of this van today. This is an all-wheel drive Sprinter 170 that's absolutely loaded. The interior is one of our beautiful home interiors, and then on the outside, we've basically done everything we can to turn this beautiful van into an absolute beast of a machine. There's a lot to share, all kinds of things that have happened here. There's a bunch of things that we've done on this van that we've actually never done before, so I'm particularly excited to share those things. So yeah, let's crack into it. All right, so we're gonna start up front and we'll kind of work our way around the outside and then we'll head inside after that. First thing I want to talk about is this bumper light combo. So this bumper is a CATuned front bumper. Obviously it's got a 10,000 pound Warren winch in there, which is great. We put a bunch of bumpers on the front of Sprinters. If you're thinking about doing these LP9 Pros, and I'll talk about these lights in a second, I personally think that this bumper is really the best bumper to go with. And it just has to do with the sort of general kind of composition and layout of the front end. Most of the other bumpers that are out there, this bar across the front here tends to be narrower. So like the owl bumper is quite a bit narrower. And if you're planning on putting these LP9 Pros on here, or just the regular LP9s, and you use one of those other bumpers, it tends to be kind of crowded, in my opinion. There just isn't enough width, and so these end up being quite a bit closer. And to me, I just like the layout of this. I feel like the spacing is really nice. I like the fact that the overall diameter of these LP9s is very similar to the overall diameter of the Mercedes logo, and the whole thing just kind of works. Also a big fan of the owl bumper. If you're not gonna run these LP9s and you're gonna run like some of those grill lights that I think are really nice as well, and they're a little more understated, then you could run the owl bumper and not do the CATuned bumper. But one of the things, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but there's a pretty significant difference between just the regular LP9s and the LP9 Pros. Just the regular LP9 is just a single light. It's bright, it's really nice. The LP9 Pros also have both like a high beam setting and a low beam setting. We can tie these into your regular lighting controls in your van. So if you turn these on and you're flicking between your high and low beams, these will flick between them as well, which is really, really nice. It's actually really, really nice. So I'm a huge fan of these lights. They're expensive. To do the high and low beam thing is a bit more involved, but whatever. I think it's totally worth it. Of course, we got some shackles here as well. Up top there, we have a light bar. I'm gonna cover the roof rack stuff in a minute. And then underneath, we've got skid plating down here that for the engine, transfer case, transmission. We also have skid plates all the way to the back for the differential. This client also chose to go with the extended range diesel tank. So it's not quite double the stock tank, but it's almost double the size, which is a really nice upgrade in my opinion. I absolutely hate stopping to fill up with gas, or in this case diesel. There's something in here. So we have right up over there, we put a air compressor on board as well. So it's a 12-volt air compressor. That is gonna be super helpful for being able to air his tires back up after he airs them down, which is a perfect segue to go walk around the side here and talk about his tires. So this is actually our first time running these wheels. These are Talon wheels with BF Goodrich KO2 tires on them. These Talon wheels, I'm a huge fan of. Like I said, this is the first time we've put them on, but they have a very special feature on them, which is these apex valves. Like I mentioned before, he's gonna want to be able to air down his tires whenever he goes off-road. If he's gonna take it on the beach or in the sand or in the mud or whatever, he's gonna want to be able to air down and air back up again pretty quickly. And so that's why we have the air compressor on board, is so he can air back up. But airing down quickly, with a normal set of wheels is a little bit tricky. This wheel has actually two valves. So it has a normal Schrader valve, and then it also has the apex valve. The apex valve is really just designed for, mostly for deflating. It doesn't require any special tools, and it is a high flow valve. Literally within like 10 seconds, you're gonna get, which is like really, which is very fast. You can get all the way from having whatever your road pressure is, all the way down to, let's say, 10 PSI, in 10 or 20 seconds or something like that. So that's really, really nice. I've never had these on a vehicle of my own. When I build my Sprinter 170 that I'm hoping to build in the next year, I will definitely be putting these wheels on there. that just seems like a huge bonus. I also love the look of these wheels. I think they're just really sharp. I don't know, it's a nice combination of like a little bit aggressive, but then also a little bit understated. The one thing I will say is that, you know, looking at these, I'm looking at these wheel lugs, you know, because everything else is such a dark tone on this van and the wheels are so dark, these, you know, bright metal lugs draw your eye, and I feel like it shouldn't be that way. So I think probably what we're gonna do is probably swap these out with black lugs. I don't know if you want to drop a comment below and tell me if you think that's a good idea or not, or if it doesn't bother you, but for me, I feel like they should really be blacked out. So I don't know, that's my opinion. So I think we'll probably be doing that. One other thing we did here was a pretty significant suspension upgrade. So we put the Van Compass 6.3 kit on here. So that kit is a combination of a 2-inch lift, which is a pretty significant lift. It's not a small project putting that lift in. It's spacers between the subframe and the frame, and then also adjustable Falcon shocks on the front and back. So it is the top level kit that Van Compass sells, and it's a absolutely great kit, and it's going to work great for this. Nice thing about them being adjustable shocks is that you can quickly dial them up for when you're on the highway, and then you can soften them up when you go off-road. So if he's going to pull off and he's going to be spending some time in the sand or the dirt or the mud, you can adjust his shocks, you can hit the apex valves, air it all down, and be done with that in just a matter of minutes and be going on his way, which is pretty sweet. On the outside here, we've got our scene lights. We've got lights all the way around this van. Obviously up there, we also have the Fiamma awning, which is super. Down this end here, we got, you know, another scene light. This is one of our bunk windows here. This is the turn window. It's a flat window. It's tinted. I love these windows. I'll talk more about these when we're inside the van, but super great. And then I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the camera a little closer, and we're gonna talk about these side storage units here. So actually, before I talk about these storage units, I just want to cover a couple more things on the wheels. I realized actually this camera position, you can kind of see the wheel lugs a little better and what I was talking about. Let me know what you think. I feel like they should be black. I don't know why I'm focusing on it. I don't know. The other thing I forgot to mention about the Talon wheels is that they have an offset that's very well suited for the Sprinters, so they're actually shifted out ever so slightly. It gives the van just a slightly better stance, and just the general wheel fitment is improved as a result. So over here we have these storage units. There is a storage unit on this side and then also one over on the driver's side. What's really nice about this setup is basically it's designed to take advantage of a cavity that exists in the body. And so what we do is we cut out the outside of the body here and expose that cavity. We put this kit over the top of it, and it's pretty fantastic. It's not a lot of storage space in there, so I feel like for most uses it doesn't provide a lot of utility, but it's really perfect for the way that we've been using it on the passenger side, to be using it for all of the hoses for the air compressor setup. So what's really great, when he needs to air back up, he's got his hoses right here. His air connection is right in here. It's all tucked away. It's behind a lock and key, which is also nice. You know, on the driver's side, we have the same thing, except instead of for the air compressor setup, it's for his water connections for his auxiliary tanks. So he has an auxiliary water tank in place where his spare tire used to be. And then we have all of our water connections and hoses and controls and stuff like that are all in the storage bays that are on the other side. So it's really, really nice that it's all tucked away. It's kind of perfect. It means when he needs to air up or he wants to use his auxiliary water, he doesn't need to open up his van in any way. It's all right here. It's pretty great. All right, let's check out the back of the van. All right, so it's kind of owl central back here. We got another owl Talon wheel right here on their spare tire ladder combo kit. I've talked about this plenty of times. It's great. I feel like this ladder tire combo is almost becoming like, it's in the same way that like a Max van is installed in every single van that ever gets built. This is sort of becoming a little bit like that, and for good reason. It works well, it looks great. Behind me here, we have a B2 carrier mounted up on the passenger side door, and then this Expedition box by Owl. This is a huge box, so I'll show you here. There's a little pin inside here to fold it down, just to give a sense of scale. This is a big box. It's a lot. You can get extra shelves from them. If this was my van, I'd probably get one extra shelf. I'd probably keep firewood in the bottom half and you know, shoes and hiking boots and I don't know, kind of like messy things basically is what I would keep back here, or things that I need at the campsite real quick. So that's the kind of stuff I would tend to keep in a box like this. It's really great. What's really nice about this is this kind of table that it creates when the bottom half folds down. So it's easy for you to like kind of organize your things, and it's nice just to have a surface to work off of. So that's really good. There is one thing that I really don't like about this box, and I've spoken about it at least once before, but this closes with a surprising amount of force. And to me, it's a little terrifying. If I was here, or my wife was here, or somebody was with me and they had their hand here and we didn't realize it and somebody closed this, you know, that thing closing down, somebody's hand is right here, it's, you know, it's bad. You're gonna have a broken fingers. So I wish that was better. That wouldn't prevent me from buying this box for myself, because I would just make sure I didn't have my hand there, but it just seems a little unnecessarily dangerous. So, all right, let's go around the side. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a couple things as we go down the side here. These are the mirror image storage lockers that you saw on the other side. These have the water connections and everything for his auxiliary water tank. Right here we have a 30 amp shore charge connection for him. So, you know, if he was parked up at a campsite for a long period of time, he could plug in, keep everything topped up. But the fact is, he's got a second alternator installed in this van that's gonna pump out, you know, 200-300 amps every time he's driving, and he's really not gonna need to plug in, I think ever. Which is the goal, right? Is just to be able to be off-grid and free. So, of course, this is the other bunk window. We got another scene light up here. Up here we've got another turn window. It's flat, tinted. Love this window. Really, really love that window. I want to talk about this ladder a little bit. So we've installed a bunch of ladders over the years. I have to say, I feel like all I've been doing is talking about OWL. One of the things that's really great about it is that the steps are squared off, which is not actually common. So most of the side ladders tend to have like a tubular design, and the tubes are very slippery. It's very easy to your foot to lose traction on it. These being squared off, your foot is less likely to slip. They also you know, include grip tape on it, which is, you know, nice. In my opinion, this is the best ladder you can do as a side ladder. That said, not everybody should get a side ladder. There's a lot of pros and cons to both. There's no perfect answer. If you really, really, really need to get to your roof and it's important and you want to be able to do it frequently, then a side ladder is a good idea. If you need to do it, just if you're like, want to be able to get up to your roof 1 day a year or 2 days a year, well, then you can do the rear door ladder and that'll be just fine. The thing with these ladders is that they increase your profile on this side. So if you're in traffic and things like that, you're gonna be kind of wanting to keep an eye on this. For me and in my uses, I'm not worried so much about traffic, but I'm worried more about the trail. So on my van, there are a bunch of times where I'll be going down through a little trail and it's really tight, and I'm like watching my side mirror there, and I'm just like trying to scrape by a tree as I kind of go around a corner or something, going like 2 miles an hour. You know, having this additional width is just something that I have to keep an eye on. I'm not worried about hitting the ladder on like a tree, because like whatever, it'll be fine, and ladders are replaceable. But the thing I do worry about is getting something like a branch that kind of goes in here and then tries to break off. And what I worry about there is that then something is gonna get between the ladder and the body, and then there's gonna be significant body damage. And you know, that's just something to think about. So anyway, there's no right or wrong, but something to think about. There's a bunch of stuff I wanna show you up on the roof, so let's go check that out. So let's talk about this whole roof setup. Up front, obviously, we've got a bunch of solar here. We put solar on every single van we build. This is 350 watts of solar. The back half of the van here, we did something a little unique here. We built this catwalk that kind of goes over the air conditioner, over the max fan, and creates a kind of platform that's you know, coplanar with the top of these Pelican cases, which I think is really, really nice. It just kind of makes this all super accessible, makes it really easy and safe to get to all of these cases, which I think is great. Up front here, we've got our 5G antenna. Mounting it actually on this catwalk is really kind of a nice way of doing it, because this whole catwalk actually becomes like a kind of ground plane for the antenna, which basically just means that, it enhances the antenna. So it's a really nice, setup for that antenna. And then behind me, we have the Starlink antenna. So between the two of these things, he's gonna have internet, basically in 99% of North America, he'll be dialed in. So that's real good. These cases are great. So these are Pelican cases. We got a pair of BX55s here and a pair of BX85s behind me. They have quite a bit of storage. What's nice about this catwalk setup here is it's real easy to get into these cases. You can put a lot of stuff in here. If this was my van, I would be putting recovery gear. If I was going on a long trip, maybe I'd put some off-season clothing in here and other things. But really, really nice. Really nice to be able to get up here, be able to hang, kind of walk around up here safely, be able to get at your stuff safely. Also, because they're the same height, easy to sit on the side and hang out to. So I love the way this whole thing came out. We'll probably do something like this on my van, and yeah, I don't know, I'm excited for that. So that's enough exterior stuff. Let's get inside. So before we head inside the home, I wanted to show you a couple things here first. So we've got a 110 outlet over here. We have a little storage spot right here. And of course we have our fold down table. I absolutely love this fold down table. It's a acrylic hardwood composite. All of the hardware for the hinges and for the strap and the way it all mounts up, all that stuff is completely concealed inside this composite table. And I just love it. It's just very clean and minimal, and it's just like, I don't know, it makes me happy. I designed this 3D printed light that's right here that creates nice task lighting here. That light's on a little dimmer over here, so we can turn that on and off. This little wood strip up here is holding a whole bunch of magnets, so you can put cutlery and other knives and things like that along here. It's basically a knife block. The magnets in there also line up in magnets in the table here, so that's how the table stays closed when it's folded up, so it's not like bouncing around when you're driving down the road. And then of course right here we've got a little cutting board that's held in with magnets as well, so that's pretty nifty. All right, let's head inside. Welcome inside the Hudson. I've mentioned it before, but I absolutely love the seat in the Hudson. The same actually goes for our Highline builds. I just love this seat at the dinette table here, where you have all these windows in front of you. If the slider door is open, you can look out over there. You have this nice big window over here that you can open up and get absolutely massive amounts of fresh air, which is super nice. My current van that I own doesn't have a seat that's sort of oriented this way. I have a base camper build, which I very much enjoy. But I've come to really adore this setup. I don't know. I think it's great. Our client for this van chose to go with, instead of going with like a butcher block table, which we often do here for the Dinette, he chose to match this table to the fold-out table that's out on the slider that I just showed you. So we have a white acrylic hardwood composite table here. Above me, we've got a set of overheads here. We got one door up front, we got another door, and a microwave. Yep. So we've got a microwave tucked in here. So that's great. He chose to go with L-Track embedded in his overhead and also in the overheads back there. That offers some functionality. Also, I think it's got a nice look to it. We've got this linear LED, of course, which dims. And then the seat I'm sitting in here actually folds into a bed. It kind of folds flat, connects to the driver's seat in front of me. You can look back at some other videos I've done on Hudsons where I'll kind of show how that works. But it makes it into a bed. It's 6 feet long, so it can accommodate an adult pretty well. But it's not super comfortable. It's more comfortable than sleeping on the floor, but it's not like sleeping on a mattress, I guess is my point. Behind me, of course, we've got a TV for him to be able to stream to or work off of. If he's sitting in that seat, he can kind of look up there, and so that's good. Let's head over and check out the kitchen. So this client decided to go with our full-size kitchen. We either do what we call our full-size kitchen or our 2/3 kitchen. The 2/3 kitchen kind of comes about here in a Hudson, and our full-size kitchen goes, an extra, I don't know, 20 inches or something like that. The full-size kitchen allows us to do the fold-down table on the outside and all those other features that you saw. And it also just gives you this huge working space here, which is awesome, including this leaf here. So I'm going to fold this up. Of course, this leaf, we always support it using these heavy-duty drawer slides. We don't use the ratcheting hardware that like people tend to use. The main reason I don't use that is because it's loud, it rattles when you drive, and it's cumbersome, and I don't know, I don't like it. I guess that's why I don't use it. But what we have here is nearly 6 feet of countertop space, which is kind of an extraordinary luxury in a van. He chose to go with a single induction cooktop. We could do a double. I personally, my preference is a single, and then to have another single that's just portable, and either plugging that in on the outside table or plugging it here if I really do need 2 burners at the same time. I think it works out great. Of course, we've got a 15-inch Rivati sink here. It's just a super sink. It's kind of the perfect size sink in my opinion. You can get all your pots in there. It's nice and deep, so you can do what you need to do, but at the same time it's not like taking up way too much real estate. So I don't know, I kind of like that. Of course, above me here we have some tiny little overheads. These are really nice actually. I wish I had something like this in my van for just like little things, mugs, spices, I don't know, small containers. I wish I had something like that. Down here, of course, we have the CRX-80 fridge. We have lots of drawers. You know, when you have the full-size kitchen, there are just so many drawers. And when one of the main things, you get this giant bank of drawers that's back here. So there is just an absolute megaton of storage here, which is super nice. Of course, all these drawers use our electromagnetic locking system. So as soon as you turn on the van, all of these electromagnets are energized on the back of the kitchen cabinet here, and all those drawers become locked, which is just fantastic. Same thing with this drawer down here under the seat, and it's really great because it means you don't really have to think about like setting and unsetting latches and locks and stuff like that. You literally turn the van on, everything locks. As soon as you turn the van off, it all unlocks. Also just down here is this special step drawer. This guy is rated for several hundred pounds. You can step on this and use this as a platform to get in and out of bed, which is super nice. It locks out, of course, so it's a really stable platform. And then you just release the lock and close it, and you're all set. All right, let's check out the bathroom. So this bathroom design is something I'm really quite proud of. We spent a lot of time working on this leading up to the very first van that we built that had a full-time shower in it. And we spent a lot of time trying to figure out what materials and just how we wanted it to go. And you know, and we settled on white acrylic with a stainless steel shower pan and a teak floor, in, you know, really with the goal of trying to have it be a bright, clean space that is sort of inspiring and makes you happy, but then also giving it, you know, this nice teak floor so that also you just kind of feel like grounded. There's nothing quite as nice as, you know, having bare feet on a piece of teak or a piece of wood or cedar or something like that. I love these bathrooms. It's worked out fantastically from the very first one we've done. We've basically done it exactly the same ever since. We've improved on it slightly. This client decided to go with the Trelino toilet, which is a fantastic toilet. You know, we can put basically any toilet in this shower, but he chose a Trelino, which is great. It's super simple. I have a whole video that you can watch if you haven't seen it already, where I go through every single toilet for like an hour, over an hour. One of the nice things about the Hudson shower is it is the biggest shower that we make. So this is a 36-inch shower in this dimension. So it's a little extra big. So that's always nice, of course. And of course, the shower is hooked up to our 4-gallon hot water heater. That's good for about an 8-minute shower, maybe 10 minutes if you're a bit conservative with your water usage. And yeah, I don't know. It's pretty super. All right, let's check out the bed. Okay, so I've said it before, and I guess I'm saying it again. I really, really wish I had a bed that was this big in my van. In fact, I think one of the main reasons I want to build a 170 for myself is just so I can have this gigantic bed all to myself. This bed is what they call an RV Short King. It's not actually a king size mattress, it's something else. It's 72 inches in this direction and I think 75 inches in that direction. It's big, it's comfortable, it's an 8-inch foam mattress, it's pretty deluxe. On the sides here, we've got our 2 bunk windows, the Arctic turn windows over here, those awning out so you can have them up in the rain if you want. They have a bug screen built in, they have a blackout shade built in as well. The cross ventilation possibilities with those 2 windows seems pretty delightful. We got a couple Sonos speakers back there. We also have a couple bedside reading lights, and then we also have some bedside USB charging spots. So a lot of stuff going on back in the corner there. Above me here is an 9500 BTU air conditioning unit made by Hofton. We absolutely love this unit. It just puts out a ton of cold. It gets things cold very quickly. It's great. It's super. Of course, we got a ton of overhead storage here for all your clothes and whatever else. I mean, this is just a ton of storage. We don't always do these storage units on both sides. In fact, we typically don't do it on this side. I guess it's just sort of an option. My preference is actually not to do both on both sides, just because like it kind of closes it in a little bit. But the flip side is you have an absolute mega ton of storage. So, of course, that's always great. All right, let's check out the garage. Of course, one of the other reasons I really want to build a 170 for myself is for the giant garage that goes underneath the giant bed. I've found in my base camper that it's not uncommon for me to just have my garage completely packed, especially in the summer when I'm like, I have an inflatable boat and I've got an outboard motor and I've got like all kinds of stuff in there. The possibility of having a garage that is 80 inches long is pretty enticing. So one of the nice things also is this bed slide. So it's kind of a game changer because, you know, if you have a garage that's this deep, trying to get at the stuff at the far end is not that much fun. I forgot to show you, by the way, that back there, that's a little sliding door, this little pocket door basically, so that you can get access to the garage from the other side. The nice thing about this bed slide is you can pull your entire garage out of the van, which is awesome. You get it all your stuff, do whatever you gotta do, and put it away. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. On this side, we've got our electrical cabinet. Just like all of our builds, we've got a 3,000 watt Victron inverter, pretty much all Victron components. It's way over spec'd, it's way over engineered. You're really never gonna have to worry about it. But it's all tucked in there. This client also went with, I think, around 1,200 amp hours of battery. So he's got an absolute ton of battery storage on board, which is great. He has I think I mentioned earlier, he has the dedicated second alternator that's gonna be charging those batteries. Of course, the solar up on the roof is gonna be charging that as well. And if he decides he wants to plug it in to shore power, he can do that. But honestly, the second alternator is gonna just do so much work charging those batteries that I don't think he'll ever really consider plugging it in. So that's always nice. On the sides here, by the way, we've got these Molly panels on both doors. These are really nice. It's going to be nice for him to be able to like take little bags and little things and be able to attach them on here. And then of course on this side we have the plumbing cabinet. The Hudson has a 40-gallon water tank, fresh water tank on board, and a 4-gallon hot water heater. Filling it's a piece of cake. You clip on your hose up onto here. It's a dripless connection. You just fill it until basically it gets to the top and the water will start overflowing underneath the van out through a pipe. And then you know it's completely full and you just unclick it and you're all set, which works really, really well. Of course, we also have an outdoor shower connection right here. That's connected to the same hot water heater that your main shower is. So it's nice to be able to have a little shower connection there. I mentioned before also, he also has the auxiliary tank in the spare tire location. I think that's a 27-gallon tank. Of course, if he decides, you know, if he empties his main tank and he wants to transfer some water from his auxiliary tank, he can always pump that water up into his main tank as well. So lots of features there. And yeah, let's head around front and wrap this up. Thanks for being here and checking out this tour with me. I absolutely love this van. I'm so incredibly proud of our team and the work they did in this van. I'm also just so incredibly happy for our client who's gonna be taking delivery of this in the next couple days. I know he's planning on taking this all over North America. He's got big plans, and I'm excited for him. I'm sure he's gonna have a fantastic time. I really appreciate you guys being here. Please, if you have any questions or thoughts or suggestions or anything like that, please drop it in the comments below. I don't always have time to respond to them all, but I do try and read them all. Really appreciate it. I hope you're having a great day. I hope whatever you got going on in your life, I hope it's going your way. Peace.